very much, Sir Edward, for allowing me to speak on behalf of the 1,892 people in West Worcestershire who have signed this petition. And can I also thank my honourable friend, the member for Berwick, for really expounding exactly why this is an important debate. And it's one where I think this is in my fifth Parliament now. I don't recall the Petitions Committee having to call as many debates on calling another general election in any other Parliament. This follows last January's debate where 3 million people had signed the petition. And so I asked myself, why are we seeing this kind of appetite amongst our constituents to litigate the general election of 2024 so soon after it happened? I give way.
I believe I just heard the honourable member say that there had been a petition with 3 million signatures last year and 1 million signatures this year. If that's correct, does that mean that the number of people calling for an election has fallen by 2/3?
I think that's probably 4 million people who have, in this length of time, signed this petition. So I would encourage the member to dream on that one. But I asked myself, why have we seen this kind of robust signing of these petitions over these 2 years? And I think it boils down to the fundamental principle of our democracy, which is based around people's manifestos, and how we do need to rely on political parties setting out a direction of travel in their manifesto and then trying to deliver that manifesto. So I think the problem that has led to all these signatures is really to do with the way in which we were not told about the plans for change that the government had in their manifesto. I could go on for the whole of this debate about just the tax changes alone, because, of course, we were told in the general election that the government had no plans, if they were to win the election, to raise taxes beyond what was outlined in their manifesto. And then within months of that, in the first budget, the Chancellor raised taxes by an astonishing £40 billion a year for the duration of this Parliament, and public spending by a further £30 billion, so a total of £70 billion a year increase in public spending, something that had been deliberately not stated during the general election campaign. But I won't spend my time talking about taxes. We've got would you like to intervene on taxes?
About people not being told about things at a general election. I just wonder how many people were told in the 2019 election that the Prime Minister would be replaced by then Boris Johnson, would be replaced by Liz Truss, and then replaced by Rishi Sunak. Isn't the point that things change over the course of a Parliament, and surely the change of a Prime Minister would be more merit for the calling of an election than the things that the honourable member has cited?
I think he needs to be careful what he says on that front, frankly. But to do with taxes specifically, I don't think he can point to a single time in history where within 3 months there has been such a dramatic change from what was promised to the public in a general election campaign and what actually happened in the budget. But I'm actually going to focus on the non-tax matters. We've got lots of votes on taxes over the course of the next few days. I'm going to raise some of the other things that this government has chosen to do in its first 18 months, which were decisively not in the manifesto. I would point to giving away the Chagos Islands and paying Mauritius to take them as a particularly egregious example not set out in the Labour manifesto. I would point to the fact that on multiple occasions now, elections are being cancelled. Local, incredibly important local elections are being cancelled, and that was certainly not in the Labour manifesto. I would point to the fact that it is going to be a feature of this government that they're going to propose curtailing jury trials. Something I noticed silence now on the government benches, but this is something that again was not in the Labour manifesto. I suppose you could grudgingly accept that purging political opponents from the other place was somewhat in the manifesto, but I don't think that stuffing stuffing the other place with political supporters to replace them was. I don't think cutting press conferences for the access to the press was in the Labour manifesto. I don't think introducing digital ID was in the Labour manifesto. I don't think rolling out an extensive increase in facial recognition on our streets was in the Labour manifesto. So I think that those are all things that, if they were happening in another country, you might think was the route to totalitarianism. I think this is the kind of thing that the public are very concerned about. So it's not just the huge increase in taxes, it's also the reduction in the kind of freedoms that we have taken for granted in this country for so many years that is causing so many of my constituents to call for another general election.